Hey, my name is Karthik, and today I'm going to talk about creating texture maps for the physically based shading model which we have developed. Okay, first of all, textures define how the object should appear to the user. There are two types of texture basically. One of them is the albedo map, which defines the color of the object. Say, for example, this spear over here has red, white patches all over it. So the albedo map defines what color should apply to where. Next comes the specular map, specular texture. Okay, this defines how reflective an object must be, and it also defines how rough the object must be. So the glossiness defines the roughness. Okay, so let's just try varying the roughness parameter here. As you can see, as the roughness increases, the highlight becomes dimmer and it begins to spread. So when the roughness is almost 0, this is 0 and this is 1, and it is almost 0, the highlight is very bright. So it's more of consistent rather than spreading, right? Okay, now as we move across the slider, okay, now the highlight spreads. This is how a real life object behaves. This is called the blind formed specular model. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to go into that as that's very different from texture map creating. First of all, this specular texture defines how the object must reflect the incoming light. So I select this one here, the gray map. This one. Now, when I selected that, as you can see, the metal became dim. The reason is the incoming light, the reflected light, are nearly the same. Okay, so the darker regions represents only a few amount of light is reflected, whereas the brighter region over here represents that all of the incoming light is reflected. And reflection in this term is both the wavelength and light. So I'll show you as I try to vary the specular here, as you can see, bring it to 0, there is no reflection at all. Whereas if I try and increase gradually, it's reflecting. Okay, it's reflection. So the specular map basically defines how much the surface must be reflected. Okay, now I'm gonna pause this video, close the Unity, and I'm gonna open Photoshop to teach you how to create a specular map like this. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna go show you what a specular map looks like. Okay, as you can see, the specular map is mostly a grayscale texture. For metals, okay, for metals like gold, platinum and all, they should be colored because as you can observe that whenever a light hits a metal surface, like say copper, okay, copper is kind of brown in color. When the light hits it, the reflected light will be in the color of the metal. If the copper is slightly brown in color, then the reflection you get from the copper will also be tinted. It's kind of brown in color. Same applies for our vehicles as well. You can see the coating on that. The metallic surface reflects the color in which it is. Okay, going a bit too complicated, I'm sorry, I was an idiot. Anyways, as you can see, all the specular texture is mostly in grayscale, as none of these are metals. This section over here, even though it is a metal, it is in grayscale because the coating on which it is made is a non-metal, right? So a metallic surface is usually coated with dielectrics like paint and stuff, right? Those are not metals. So in that case, you should paint which is a non-metal. Okay, I'm just gonna drop that. I'm sure you'll understand better when I come to the texturing part. I'm gonna pause this video for a while, then I'm gonna resume it when I open Photoshop. Welcome back, guys. Sorry guys, my computer hung up due to lack of memory for recording and the Photoshop and the editing. So 1 second. Okay, I hope it doesn't hang again. Okay, anyways, this is how an UV layout looks like. An UV layout represents each faces of an object, right? Right now it represents nothing, okay? It's just the texture I created for the purpose of showing you. While 3D modeling, we define which section of the surface should be metal, while the other surface should be non-metal. Say a weapon, in the weapon, the barrel of the weapon should be a metal, but the buck, the section where you hold the weapon, the lower part, will be a non-metal, like a dielectric or a polymer. So in that case, while 3D modeling, we paint all the metal surfaces with one color, like silver metal, and silver is a metal, right? So we paint it with something like gray, and while the non-metal, like the dielectric sections, we paint it with something blue, red, anything color doesn't matter. Okay, right now this section represents metal, this one is pure, this is brick, rust, fabric, and plastic. Okay, you might be thinking, why differentiate metal and gold? The reason is, some metals are colored while the rest of them are not colored, right? So since the specular texture represents the color, amount of light being reflected back, okay, the specular texture represents the amount of color being reflected back. At the same time, it also represents the color of the reflected light. So if I paint this, if I paint the specular texture, okay, if the texture is just gray, then the reflected light will be something near to green or white. Okay? If texture is red in color, then the reflected light will be red. So I'm going to show you that. I will show you that once I complete this process. First of all, specular texture is a bit easier than the albedo creation. We have got the real world values. First of all, let's get a new layer. The layer, as you can see, all the text is in a new layer. It's just all as an overall one, so it will be easier for us to edit. Okay, so I'll create a new layer. To create a new layer, here I press this button over here. Okay, when I press that, a new layer is created. Now, let's start with non-metal. Non-metal for plastic. Okay, for that color, you may be thinking, which color should I be there? Lucky for us, Donator Graphics have experimented the real world values and defined the color for this section. So for a plastic, it should be somewhere between gray. But we don't know that. Here it's a darker shade of gray, and over here it's a bit lighter shade of gray. So to select plastic, all you got to do is go to this. It's called eyedropper tool. It's like a dropper. You can see it over here. This tool. Select it and go to the plastic region. So if say I want this section, just select that. So we got that color. Now minimize it. Now I need this whole region to be filled with that color because that region represents plastic. That which means plastic reflects that amount of light back to the eye. Okay. Oh, I forgot to show, right? Yeah. The thing is, as specular texture becomes brighter, the more reflective it is, right? So it would be something like this. If specular color is complete white, whereas if the specular color is complete black, it will be something like this coin over here. There will be no reflection. Don't worry, I will show that. I will show you that in the software. Okay, first of all, I'm going to select this region with the help of this tool, marquee tool. To do that, rectangular marquee tool. Okay, to do that, all you got to do, click on that. Just click on that and select the starting point and just drag it until you get the desired shape. You can drag it in this manner, anything suits. So drag it until here. Then I'll go to the paint bucket tool, shortcut is G, and fill it with that color. Now this section over here is a plastic, so we can even rename the layers. Just all you go to this, double click it. Let's test plastic. Okay, now let's fill this section of the metal. I'm going to create a layer, drag it, select the tool, marquee tool, select this metal. Okay, now go back to the table. So now I need to decide which metal is it. Is it aluminium or iron? For now, let's just stick with iron. Once again, I need to select the eyedropper tool, click on the color, which samples that color. As you can see here, this is the color we're going to use. This is the paint bucket. That's it. Now that's done. Okay, that's the metal. Now, if you press on this, it's going to hide that layer. Okay, the reason is I need to fill in the rust. So I'll rename this as rust. Select the tool again. Select this region. Now, as you all know, the rusted parts of the metal will be very less reflective. So as you can see, it's right over here. Select the rust region, minimize it, press G to select the paint bucket, and fill it over there. That's it. Now, to deselect that, all you got to do is press on the tool again, go over the region, press on right click, and press deselect. Now, I need to select the circular region, which once again represents rust. Remember, all the green regions represent rust. To do that, all I do is go over the tool again, press the right button. Now you can see a circular option. Press that. Now, select any one of the borders and start dragging until you get the desired value. Now, I have drag it in random manner. Anyways, now as you can see, it's a bit offset. To move that, all you got to do is bring the pointer over the circular region and just hold the left mouse button and drag it over the desired shape. Okay, so you can drag it. Now I'm just going to fit that over there. Now I'm going to select the paint bucket tool and fill it. Okay, now that means it's must. Now, once again, I go over here, right click, select the rectangular tool. Okay, now I'm gonna enable this back again. I need to fill gold. For the gold, I'll select this region, go over here, and we can see equivalent color for gold. All I do is select that, select the paint bucket tool. That's it, fill it. Since that is done, then I need to do same for the brick. Okay, for the brick, once again, create that. That's not perfect, but it doesn't matter. It's just a part of the tutorial series. For the brick, okay, it is in the plastic region. As you can see here, wood, stone, brick, and sand can be set within the same range as plastic. So I'm just gonna select that. G and fill that with this color. Now as you can see, this one overlaid the rust region. So to prevent that, all you got to do is drag this region and drop it below the rust region. See, drag it. If I place on top of it, it gets overwritten. Whereas if I drop it below it, it, it will be placed below the rust layer. So that's how we can differentiate the surface. Now since the specular map is done, I will go to the glossiness map. Okay. To do that, what you got to do is press on channels layer. See, good. Press channels. Then press this new button again. This creates another layer called alpha. In alpha, you cannot choose colors. You have to stick within black and white range. Say if I choose, even if I choose color, and when I try to paint it, it will be gray, because in alpha channel you should be within the black or white, so it cannot be any other RGB colors. Okay, now as I said before, the alpha channel represents the glossiness or the roughness of the material. So as the rougher the material gets, the dimmer will be the highlight and will be spread. Whereas if the roughness is less, the highlight will be much sharper. Okay, so over here we got the roughness. This is how it looks like. As the rougher it gets, the highlight gets dimmer and it begins to spread. But as smoother it gets, it will be sharper. Okay, so all you got to do is say, go back over here. It's free, so you don't need to stick on. Say if it's gold, you don't need to paste some color that represents gold. Okay, there is no real world values for roughness like there are for specular values. Say for the specular value, it's this color, right? And for plastic, it's this color. Whereas for the glossiness, there is no such thing. So it's just based on your imagination and your creativity. Say if you want this metal to be highly glossy, all you got to do is select that and fill it with a brighter color. Brighter color represents the higher glossiness value. Right now it looks complete smooth. This gold surface is completely smooth. Okay, now I'm gonna go here and select the rust. Since we all know rust isn't actually smooth, it's extremely rough, right? So okay, let's select that and draw it over there. Match it. Then jump to channels, go to the alpha region, and if I fill it with color white, then it represents completely smooth surface. Whereas as we know, rust is not smooth; it's rough, whatever. So all you got to do is select completely black or somewhere near black to prevent, make it kind of shiny, kind of wet, rough, rust or something. Okay, I'm just going to select that. As you know, the borders are a bit highlighted. That's not going to be a problem for now, because what you can do is you can just paint over it using this paint brush tool, using different patterns. I press here, you get a load of patterns. Select any one and just begin to paint over that. Anyways, next, okay, this is the alpha channel. Okay, once again, select the rectangular tool. Now this represents a plastic, right? Now once again we need to decide, should the plastic be completely glossy or rough? So if we want somewhere between glossy and rough, just go over here, select something with gray, and because complete white represents a glossy surface, that is completely shiny surface, whereas complete dark color represents a rough surface. So if I choose somewhere between both of them, I'll get the desired value. Now let the rest of them be black, because we don't have much time to fill all of them. I'm just going to select be black. Since metal, it's a metal. In glossiness map, the advantage is you can describe the details of the surface. Say the metal has scratches all over it. So what I could do is, since it's completely black, right, which means it's going to be very less reflective, whereas metals are a bit more reflective anyway. So I'm just gonna choose the shade, fill with that, and if there are scratches over there, then what you could do is Select a brush, choose a color. Since scratches will get illuminated first than that of the metal, we can just do something like this. You might have seen that in a metal, if there are a whole lot of scratches on it, scratches are the region where it will be the brightest. The highlight will be bright in the scratches region, whereas on the all the other surface it will be a bit dim. Okay, so now right now this all represents scratches. Okay, first of all I'm going to go to file, save as. I'm going to save this in my project folder. Okay, in my project folder, documents, simulators, license, custom shaders. So now I'm just gonna type test specular, okay, and I'm gonna save it as a TIFF file because I need to save the alpha channel, whereas in other formats like BMP, okay, some other formats, all the other formats, you can't save the alpha channels. Of course, you can save alpha channels, some of them, but not all. But the best which I prefer is using TIFF, not TGA, because TGA, even though it shows it can save alpha channels, it will show an error while saving. So just write test TIFF, save, okay, whatever. Okay, now our process isn't complete yet. Okay, since okay, when you are finished with this glossiness map that is in the alpha channel over here, when you're finished with that, what you need to do is press Ctrl and I, and then save that as the value. Now, I will explain this why I did that in the later part of the series. Right now, just remember, when you are done with the glossiness map, say filling with white means completely smooth surfaces and black means completely rough surfaces. When you're done with that, when you're about to export it, just press Ctrl I and then save it. Ctrl I, just inverse the color. I'll explain why I did it in the later series. Okay, now since there are a whole lot of layers in this texture, it's gonna increase the size. What you could do is go to layer, press flatten image. That's it. Now all of them get merged into this single layer. This reduces the texture size. Okay, that's it for now. I'm gonna pause the video and open again in the Unity with our